You drink water every day, and you probably don't think about it at all. It looks clear, it tastes fine, nothing feels off. So your brain just assumes it's clean. And to be fair, it is treated to be safe in the way most people think about safety, like removing bacteria or preventing disease. But that's only one part of the story. Because what people don't realize is, modern water isn't just cleaned, it's processed, and that changes what's actually in it. If you go back to how water used to exist naturally, it moved through the environment in a completely different way. Rain would fall, pass through layers of soil and rock, and pick up minerals along the way. So when people drank it, they weren't just getting hydration, they were also getting things like magnesium and calcium, which your body actually uses for nerve function, sleep, muscle control, all that. Now water doesn't really move like that anymore. It gets collected, treated in large facilities, stored, and then pushed through pipelines before it reaches your house. And again, that system exists for a good reason. It prevents serious diseases. But once you scale something like that, you don't just remove things. You also add new variables. For example, most water is disinfected using chlorine or similar chemicals. That's what kills harmful bacteria. But chlorine doesn't just disappear. Small amounts stay in the water, and when it reacts with organic material, it can form byproducts. Stuff you don't see, don't taste, but your body still interacts with. Then there's infrastructure. Water has to travel long distances through pipes, and depending on how old or worn those systems are, trace metals can end up in the water. Again, not something you notice instantly, but it's there. Now here's where it gets more interesting, and honestly, more modern. Microplastics. These are tiny particles that come from plastic breaking down over time, and they're not rare anymore. They've been found in tap water, bottled water, and even natural water sources worldwide. That's the key point. This isn't a maybe, it's already there. And it's not just the plastic itself. Some research shows that microplastics can carry and release chemicals, like plasticizers or stabilizers, into water. So it's not just particles, it's what's attached to them. But here's where people misunderstand the situation. They think in extremes. Is this dangerous or not? Will this hurt me right now? That's not how the body works. Your body doesn't react to one glass of water, it reacts to patterns. If something small enters your system once, your body can handle it easily. But if that same thing enters your system every day, for years, it becomes part of your overall load. That's what scientists call cumulative exposure. And this is actually where things start connecting with how people feel. Because a lot of people today aren't sick, but they don't feel fully right either. They feel low energy, slightly foggy, not as sharp, not as recovered. And there's no clear reason. That's because effects like this don't usually show up as one big problem. They show up as small changes in how your system functions. Research around long-term exposure suggests things like increased oxidative stress, basically more internal wear and tear, low-level inflammation, changes in how cells communicate. Not enough to cause instant disease, but enough to slowly shift how your body performs. And here's something people don't think about at all. Water hasn't just gained things, it's also lost things. Natural water used to contain minerals that supported your body. Now, depending on how it's processed, a lot of that is reduced. So yeah, you're hydrated, but not necessarily getting the same level of mineral support. And when you stack everything together, trace chemicals from treatment, possible metals from infrastructure, microplastics from the environment, reduced natural minerals. You don't get a dramatic effect, you get a subtle one, a long-term shift. And that's basically how modern health works now. It's not one big problem, it's a lot of small inputs adding up. Food changed, air changed, water changed. And your body is constantly adapting to all of it. So when people say, "I don't feel like myself lately," or "I'm always a bit tired for no reason," it's not always something obvious. Sometimes it's just the accumulation of things your body is dealing with in the background. Now, this doesn't mean you panic or stop drinking water. That's not the point. The point is understanding that water isn't just neutral. It's a constant input into your system. Because once you start thinking like that, you stop asking, "Is this safe right now?" And you start asking, "What is this doing over time?" And that shift matters, Because your body isn't reacting to one moment. It's reacting to everything you do, consistently. And water? That's one of the most consistent things in your entire life.